Bye.
Welcome, everybody, to Knock Knock Eye with me, your host, Dr. Glockenflecken. This is your one-stop shop for all things eyeball and medical comedy. We're doing something a little different today. I'll tell you what sparked this. I saw a TikTok, and sometimes I see, it's easy for me to just scroll on by things I don't like or disagree with and just like let it float away from my mind and not burden my thoughts with negativity. But I did see something recently that it got me thinking, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it very much. And this was a dermatology resident. The whole video was about how she wishes people would stop making fun of dermatologists, that it's not fair. There's too many people that are being mean to dermatologists and are talking shit, are just being overall just mean, making fun of them. And then the comments, it was a relatively successful video, and a lot of the comments on TikTok were supportive. Like, they don't, you do you just, they're just jealous. They're, don't listen to the haters, like all that stuff, like very, very supportive, which is fine. But my reaction to this, hearing this person complain about everybody making fun of dermatologists, was kind of like, my reaction was, huh, really? People making fun of dermatologists. That's a thing that you're upset about, and it prompted a video. I was skeptical. I was very skeptical. And the reason is because I don't agree with it. I don't. So let's get into this. So I built a comedy ladder for medical professionals, and specifically doctors. So this is a topic that actually I talk about a lot. It comes up often. Is how do you make fun of all these specialties without making them mad at you? Or people ask me, like, do people get mad at you? And generally, no. Like, I've been able to do this without getting myself canceled and without drawing the ire of too many groups in medicine. I think generally everybody kind of is okay with what I say about them. But I do have in my mind an established hierarchy of who can safely make fun of somebody else and which groups can you not make fun of depending on what you do, what your job is. So what I'm calling a comedy ladder. I literally just put this together. All right. So we're going to go through this. Now, the reason this is important is the old adage of don't punch down, punch up. Now, this is particularly relevant in medicine because there is a perceived hierarchy not in terms of importance and like, who's better at their job. Like, that's not what we're talking about. It's just this hierarchy of like med students to nurses, to residents, to fellows, I'm not doing these in any order, to attendings, to techs. Everybody has this perceived hierarchy relative to another group. And if you violate that hierarchy and then punch up, don't punch down, then you get yourself into trouble. That's why when med students who are seniors about to graduate, a lot of them, I don't know if they still do this. We did this in my class. We had skits and we viciously made fun of our attendings, and it was raucous laughter. Everyone loved it. It was amazing. If the attendings did skits making fun of us, the students, well, that would be horrifying. Like that would make the news. Like that would be a scary thing. We'd all feel really terrible. It would tank our confidence, and none of us would be in medicine anymore. Like it's because when attendings, if they were to do that to us, it's not funny, it's bullying. That's why it feels so bad whenever you see doctors making fun of patients on social media. I don't really make fun of nurses at all. I don't have a lot of nursing characters because it, 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 it's easy to get yourself into trouble. I would piss off a lot of nurses. Even if I'm just kind of being lighthearted with it and it comes from a place of respect, you can still get yourself into trouble. Even the tiny little things I've portrayed nurses as doing, I still even get just a few comments of like people like, oh, don't make fun of nurses, so this is a real thing. But nurses, they make fun of doctors a lot. And to be honest, I'm okay with that because often it's the physicians that are leading healthcare teams generally. And so there's that hierarchy. Again, not one person's more important than the other, but there is this perception of kind of who's in charge, right? And all of us can make fun of CEOs and health insurance companies. Like they're at the top. All right. But you'll never see an insurance executive go down and make fun of a physician or a nurse. Like, imagine how that would go publicly. So anyway, that's the framework. That's the context of what we're working with whenever I present this, what I call a medical comedy ladder to you. And this is just, it goes beyond, and I'm actually only going to address physicians here, but you could slot in, special, different like, nursing groups and trainees and med students, but I'm not going to mess with that right now. So I'm just doing medical specialties here because of this TikTok that kicked it off in my mind of a dermatologist in training complaining that too many people are making fun of dermatologists, and that's not right. All right. So I'll tell you my criteria for this. So it's a comedy ladder. So I'm starting at the bottom. In general, like the people at the bottom, all day, every day, they can make fun of people above them. And again, I want to make this clear. This is not about importance or how well someone does their job or anything like that. All right. I'll tell you the criteria for this. I have 3 criteria. One is the amount of ego you have. Very important piece of criteria. The amount of respect that you get from both the public and the government. 2 aspects of respect: public respect, government respect. The third criteria is compensation. That's my algorithm. That is my equation of determining where you end up in the medical comedy ladder. You have high ego, high respect, high compensation. You better believe you're going up at the top. And what does it mean to be at the top? That means everybody can make fun of you and you can't get mad at them. I don't care how hard they're going after you. You cannot get mad at them. You are at the top. Low ego, low respect, low compensation. All right. You are you can be a universal donor of ridicule. All right. But other people can't do that same to you. All right. Because it's more or less punching down. Right. You're already not getting respect. And so then you have someone who gets a lot of respect punching down at you lower on the ladder. That's not right. All right. So even within physician specialties, there is a hierarchy when it comes to comedy. Now, before I jump into this, one more thing I'll say about this is I firmly believe that if you do it right, you can make fun of any of these any physician can make fun of another physician, can poke fun at another physician. I feel like I have shown this with my comedy. I am an ophthalmologist and will tell you where I am on the ladder. All right. And so it's possible. You can do it. You just got to be careful. And you also have to make fun of yourself a lot. That's also really important. That gives you more leeway when you use a lot of self-deprecating humor. All right. That gives me the ability to make fun of other people. But you have to be very careful. So this ladder is kind of like a risk ladder. Like if you're higher up on the ladder and you decide to try to poke fun at somebody lower on the ladder, all right, you're incurring a lot of risk to your reputation, to people getting mad at you, to getting hate mail, to just having it not go well. High risk. All right. If you're low on the ladder, poking fun at someone on the upper ladder, you have more leeway. All right. You're less likely to get a blowback on social media. All right. So that's where, but I mean, again, if you do it right, you can violate this and be okay. But in general, if you don't do a lot of medical comedy, or you're new to the social media game, and you want to have some fun at someone else's expense, which I do all the time, I I encourage you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. All right. Okay. I think that's enough like lead up to this. Hopefully that all made sense and everybody knows what we're doing here. Medical comedy ladder. All right. Bottom of the ladder. Bottom of the ladder. Family medicine. Easy. All right. Low ego. All right. They just want to take care of the communities. All right. They don't have, they they know what they do well. They know what they don't do well. They're happy to accept help from other specialties, all right, when necessary. They don't get enough respect, clearly, and that mostly comes from the government. I think primary care gets a lot of respect from average people, all right, but they get zero respect from the government. That's very clear, and how much they're compensated. So compensation is also very low. And so family medicine is down there. If a family medicine doctor is like, I'm going to let off some steam, let's start making fun of some cardiologists. Everybody would love it. It'd be great. Do it. Do it. Cardiologists can't come back at you. All right, there. But if a cardiologist went down and tried to go after a family medicine doc, that wouldn't go well. That wouldn't go well. You see what I mean? That's what we're doing here. All right. So family medicine. Now I would accept an argument on these first two rungs of the ladder. All right. The next one I have is pediatrics. Honestly, right now, pediatrics might be a little bit lower than family medicine, and that's purely based on respect. Because not only does pediatrics not get respect from the government, they don't get respect right now from like half of the country who think that or convinced that pediatricians are getting paid per vaccine that they inject in a child, which is obviously absurd. All right. So, in fact, I'm going to make that change now. I'm putting Pete's down because the family medicine, I feel like they still get a lot of respect from the average population, but not the government. Pediatrics, a lot of people just don't give any respect at all for what they do, which is a very hard thing to deal with. Obviously, they don't have an ego. Pediatricians don't have an ego. Just going about their business, taking care of kids, and they get compensated very, very low for the work they do. And so, peds and family medicine, universal donor of comedy. They can go after whoever they want. Next, emergency medicine. Definitely emergency medicine. So, uh, let's look at the categories here. So, respect. They get a lot of respect, I think, from average people, and they get decent amount of respect from government, but they do not get enough respect from other specialties in medicine. And I'm giving that an outsized value because if you're getting shit on by other specialties in medicine a lot, I think you can automatically go after them. So EM is relatively low. They got a lot of people they can make fun of safely. They're also compensated fairly well, but they also have a very hard, lots of long hours, high acuity, high intensity job. So, that makes it a little bit more challenging. But I'm putting emergency medicine down there. Um, Next, I have OB GYN. We're going up the ladder, folks. OB GYN. This also is goes a lot with respect. So OB GYNs, I think they got decent ego. They're surgeons. OB GYNs, They're surgeons, so they're going to have a baseline ego that they're not going below. All right. You got to have a bit of an ego to be a surgeon. All right. It takes a special type of person to want to cut inside a human body that's living. We'll get to pathology shortly. Respect is where they get dinged a lot. So OBGYN is not, especially with contraception, with abortion, with even with vaccination, with cervical cancer vaccinations, things, just women's rights in general. OBGYN is not getting much respect, and so that brings them down on the ladder. They do get paid well. They're surgeons. But really, really tough sledding from the respect, both from the general public and the government. Certainly the government, especially some states. So OBGYN. So we got peds, family medicine, emergency medicine, OBGYN. Now we're getting into internal medicine. All you internists. All right, so you're kind of getting into the middle part of the ladder. You've got a healthy amount of ego, I would say. You want people to know what you have to say and how smart you are, which is fine because you're incredibly smart. You back it up. All right. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. It just tone down rounds a little bit. All right. We don't need to do impromptu journal clubs right in the middle of the day. Let's get some notes going. Okay. And let's keep the notes short. All right. It doesn't have to be a treatise. All right. We don't need chapters. Infectious disease. I'm looking at you. Okay. And so I would say healthy amount of ego. Not to surgeon level, which is why they're a little bit lower, and they get a good amount of respect. I would say a lot of the internal medicine subspecialties, they're not paid probably what they should be paid, and so from just hospitalist internists to neurologists, infectious disease, rheumatology. Allergy, nephrology, all of them, reimbursement always going down. Just so respect is okay. Compensation could be better. So that puts them where they are on the ladder. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll finish up this. Hey, Kristen?
Yeah.
I just want you to know that I am very well rested right now.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. How did you get so well rested?
Because I've been draping myself in cozy earth.
Oh.
Yeah, all through the nights.
Those sheets are very
good.
good.
Sheets and the comforter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the comforter. So this cozy earth comforter, you feel calmer and cooler because you sleep better when you're cool.
That's right.
And it's like it's so soft. It just feels like a cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you wake up, you know what you could do?
What?
You put your socks on.
Ooh.
And cozy earth has socks.
Head to toe.
It's like
cozy earth.
It's like they know that like you want to like feel like you're sleeping on a cloud and you want to be walking on a cloud.
That's right.
That's what that's like all day. I'm on cloud 9. That's all it is. And right now you can get 100 night sleep trial with Cozy Earth. And also a 10-year warranty. So they take care of you.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Absolutely. Discover how care in every detail transforms simple routines into moments of true comfort and ease. Head to CozyEarth.com and use code KNOCK for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Experience the craft behind the comfort and make every day feel intentional. Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
Be honest. Do people think about their eyelids?
Honestly? I don't, unless something's wrong.
They should, because eyelids are amazing. They distribute your tears. They protect you from incoming objects. They're really important for overall eye health as well.
And we both know they can also be affected by something very common, Demodex mite.
Oh, yeah. Demodex blepharitis.
That's
when
right.
Demodex mites overgrow and they start causing problems like itchy, red, irritated eyelids with crusties.
Mm-hmm.
Collarettes, you got it. And everyone should know that if your eyelids aren't healthy, your eyes won't be either. That's why it's important to see an eye doctor, to get an eyelid check, which is part of a normal eye exam.
And the good news is there's a prescription eye drop treatment available for Demodex blepharitis.
It's great news. To learn more about eyelid health and Demodex blepharitis, visit miteslovelids.com. Again, that's miteslovelids.com to learn more. This ad is brought to you by Tarsus Pharmaceuticals. All right, above internal medicine, I got anesthesiology. All right, so ego. They don't have an ego. In fact, I once wrote an article, a satirical article that was the title of it was anesthesiologist swallows pride, develops small bowel obstruction. And it's all about how anesthesiologists they kind of have to like just tolerate surgeons. And so when you look at ego, they're limited in they can't go above the surgeon. All right. They're not going to be, they have to be, someone has to be level-headed and calm at all times in an operating room. All right. Hopefully the surgeon is relatively calm most of the time, but anesthesiologists always, they're so even keel. All right. They don't have an ego. All right. The surgeon, they have enough ego for the entire room. So anesthesiologists, they're low on ego. They are pretty high on respect. They're like average on respect, I would say, because of the surgeon factor. All right. I feel like surgeons, they're in charge of the room. They're the boss. They feel like they're the boss of everything, including the anesthesiologist at times. And so the respect takes a hit as well. So ego takes a hit, respect takes a hit for our anesthesia folks, but they are very well compensated. They make good money. They're near the top. All right. So that's going to bump them up on the ladder. So just to recap, we got anesthesiologists a little bit higher up. So anesthesiologists, they couldn't turn around and go make fun of a pediatrician on social media or even an emergency medicine doc. All right. It wouldn't look good. It wouldn't look good for them to make fun of family medicine doctors. Could they do it? Sure. But again, there's a risk to that, a risk to your reputation. You come off as a bully, you're going to get a backlash. But family medicine, hey, you guys go after anesthesiologists. Go after how, or emergency medicine. Sure. Make fun of an anesthesiologist. About how difficult it is for you to get them down there to help you with a block or something. I don't know. I'm showing my ophthalmology knowledge, my ophthalmology tendency here. I don't know what brings specialists into the emergency department. All right, above anesthesiologists, that's where I put pathology. So pathology, as they don't. I feel like they've got a normal ego, just your average person. They're just happy with their job. They just want to sit in their office with their slides and their microscope that they named and just do their work. And, but sometimes they have to interact with surgeons. And so their ego gets knocked down a bit. Anytime anybody interacts with a surgeon, I'd say your ego takes a little bit of a hit. Respect, also kind of average. They're pretty well compensated. Pathologists. All right. So that puts them they're really close to anesthesiologists, I would say. All right. Above pathology, we got psychiatry. Now, I don't want to make the psychiatrists angry with me because, as far as like estimating what their ego is, but I feel like it's on the higher scale. It's not surgeon level. Obviously, we haven't gotten to the surgeons yet. We got a little ways to go, folks. But just to know that you understand the human mind, I feel like that takes a certain level of ego, right? So I feel like they got to be kind of high. I think psychiatrists, in some ways they get respect, in some ways they don't. So the ways they get respect is I think people are understanding the value of therapy. On the other hand, like more than ever, especially since COVID. Like everybody needs therapy. It's all over social media. Like everyone's in therapy, everyone's getting therapy, needs therapy, all this stuff. But on the flip side, they are often accused of being like pill pushers, which is nonsense. Like it's medications. It's a part of psychiatry. It's medicine. All right. This is a field of medicine. There's going to be medications involved in addition to therapy, right? You can't have one without the other. I mean, you can, but there's more treatment options available. And so I feel like their respect takes a bit of a hit on that side. But they're all pretty well compensated. And even more so if you're going to private practice because you got low overhead. And often, especially those of you who do like psychoanalysis, A lot of that's cash pay. You get paid up front. Don't mess with insurance as much if you do that type of psychiatry. So I think it kind of depends on what role in psychiatry you do, but they do pretty well. They do pretty well, and it's a growing specialty. I think people are kind of gravitating, going into psychiatry more, med students. Okay, above psychiatry, we'll try to speed this up. I put radiology. Radiology, I would say kind of average on the ego. All right. They don't really have much of an ego. Respect, they get a lot of respect, I think, from other medical specialties. Like, we all understand the importance of a radiologist, someone to read the scan that you ordered, the MRI, and to help guide treatment and look at screening and recurrence of cancer, looking for that. There's so many things radiologists do, and to have an expert in there, it's why they're considered like the doctor's doctor, because so many specialists go to radiologists for their expertise to help them read through this film. What does it mean? What could this be? What could that be? Very important. But so the respect is high, very high on that end. But their respect takes a hit because of all the AI stuff. People just are assuming that AI is going to take over radiology, which I don't think it will. I think it's kind of overblown. But also the full body MRI stuff, the influencers saying like, this is a great thing. Like, it's like we can have a computer do what the radiologist does. Come get your full body MRI once a year. Like, that is disrespectful to a radiologist. I'm just gonna say that. Or at least I'm speaking for my radiology colleagues when I say that. They are very well compensated. All right. So it's going to put them higher up on the ladder. They're going to be above psychiatry, above anesthesiology. They're going to be, because they're pretty well protected from a compensation standpoint. And a lot of them, they take call, but they don't have to get they don't get dirty. They're like squeezing pustules and stuff. So I feel like it's a pretty sweet gig. And I don't buy the AI, the replacement theory. All right, so now we're getting into the surgeons. All right, and the first one we have above radiology is the surgeon of internal medicine, the cardiologist. So I am not including cardiology in the internal medicine segment. All right, cardiologists are by far, they're up there. I swear, I've had multiple conversations on social media, arguments with some cardiologists. Not every cardiologist is like this, obviously, but they can be a little high on themselves. I think their ego is quite high, very high. It takes a large ego to just want to thrust a random EKG in someone's face and ask them to read it. Cardiologist, you got an ego. You got the ego of a surgeon, the intelligence of a non-surgeon. That's why I keep saying, and it's more true, it's just as true today as it probably was 100 years ago. That's ego. Respect, they get a lot of respect. Cardiology is hard. It's to hear all the beeps and boops going on inside the chest. I don't get it. And then all the imaging, the EKG, reading an EKG is hard. I mean, there's a reason ophthalmologists send patients to cardiologists for clearance prior to cataract surgery, because we don't think about anything below the nasal bridge. So thank God for cardiologists. As part of what gives them their ego. They know how important they are. And they're also very well compensated. All right. So I'm putting them right below general surgeons and vascular surgeons. All right. Because there's nothing, even if a cardiologist's ego is quite high, there's a ceiling to it. And that ceiling is a surgeon. Is a vascular surgeon. We'll start with vascular surgeons and general surgeons. They got they've got dirty jobs. They're dealing with tons of blood and very, very sick patients. So they get a lot of respect, and they're well compensated. All surgeons are pretty well compensated. All right, now, so we've gotten through cardiology, vascular surgery. We're getting high on the ladder, folks. We're like 20 feet up now. Like, this is dangerous territory. And so now we're getting into the senses. All right, so now we gotten above general surgeons. Now we got otolaryngologists, ophthalmologists, and then the top of the senses, dermatology. touch. All right. Otolaryngology, one rung up. Ophthalmology, one rung up. Dermatology. All three of them, healthy ego, because who else can do what we do? Who else? Nobody knows anything about eyeballs. All right. I don't know anything about skin other than it's gross. All right. And dermatology is incredibly smart. So why is dermatology at the top? Well, because they got the healthy ego. That's someone that where you're like the only one that can like reasonably diagnose anything that happens to that part of the body. Like you're going to be high up there on the ego scale. Same thing with ophthalmologists. Respect, a lot of respect given to dermatologists, to ophthalmologists, because no one else can really do what they do. And then, but the compensation is really what sets it apart. Compensation, dermatologists, they make boatloads of money, folks, especially those, I mean, in private practice, it's so do ophthalmologists. Like we make good money as well. Otolaryngologists, absolutely. But man, dermatologists, they get after it. They do. They got the cosmetic stuff. They're in private practice. They do some cash pay things. Obviously, this doesn't. I'm being very general. This doesn't apply to everyone, but it applies to a lot of them. And so this brings me back to the TikTok. All right. So when I hear this person say, "Oh, all the dermatologists, people making fun of dermatologists," well, yeah, look how high you are on the ladder. You got the respect, you got the compensation. That really throws you up there. You get paid as much as you do. So you can take a little shit from family medicine docs. All right. You can take it from the internal medicine folks, the emergency medicine folks, even radiologists. Like they can give it to you a little bit. Just take it because you're smart. All right. You're well paid. And honestly, all of you are beautiful. Everybody in dermatology, I think it's a prerequisite. You all look amazing. You have amazing skin. All right. That you've never had a sunburn in your life. All right. No moles. I don't know where they go. You scare them off. It's amazing. You don't get acne. No adult acne. The rest of us have to deal with it. You tell us your secrets, but we don't listen. We don't listen. I don't know how you're just so good looking. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So congratulations. You're high up on the ladder. We can all make fun of you. The only people above a dermatologist, all right, are the rest of the surgeon folks. All right, we got cardiovascular surgery, then plastic surgery. Okay, we'll start with those two. All right. So the reason I put them higher is because for a cardiovascular surgeon, the largest ego in the hospital. They know they're hot shit. They know, I mean, to be able to operate on the heart and the lungs. Are you kidding me? The rest of us are just like, what's more important, heart or lungs? They're like, oh, I'll just do both. Of course, they're going to have a ego. I mean, you hear stories about DeBakey, who's like the most famous cardiovascular, surgeon, cardiothoracic surgeon. Cardiovascular is in the prior surgery group. Cardiothoracic is what I'm talking about, heart and lungs. You hear about DeBakey, who was like the pioneer of cardiac bypass surgery. Like, he wouldn't let other people on the elevator with him. I don't know if that's like an old wives' tale or a myth, a legend, whatever you want to call it, that nobody could be on an elevator with him. But it's like believable enough that it could be true. So anyway, that just gives you an idea of where the cardiothoracic surgeons are living ego-wise. All right. They get a ton of respect. Again, heart and lungs, and the compensation, one of the highest paid doctors out there. All right. Do they deserve it? Of course they do. My God, they're operating on hearts and lungs, but they're going to be high on the ladder, which means everybody can make fun of them and it's okay. And their ego is so big that nothing will knock them off their pedestal. It's great. And the only reason that they're a little bit lower than the top two, plastic surgeons and thoracic surgeons, is because it's probably not actually not so much plastic surgery, but cardiothoracic surgery is the hours. Hours are crazy. Very hard job. Very hard job. All right. Then we got plastic surgeons a little bit above them, but the top two top rungs of the ladder. All right. You guessed it. Ortho, and then right above them, neurosurgeons. I mean, come on. Ortho, healthy ego. nice big honking ego. All right. They get a decent amount of respect. They get good respect because it's bones. They're the only ones that do bones. And they get paid a ton of money. All right. They're very well paid. And I just want to make it clear, all these doctors deserve to be well paid. Like all doctors deserve to be, even go down to peds and family medicine. Of course, they deserve to be paid a lot more than they do. And ortho, they earn their money. But it's going to put them high on the ladder because they're well paid. And neurosurgeons take the top spot because ego's through the roof. Unbelievable respect. I mean, who has a bad thing to say about a neurosurgeon? You're operating on the brain. My God, the brain. All right. And they routinely make on the order like $1 million a year. All right. Do they deserve it? Yes. The brain, for God's sake. Like, you would taking out a brain tumor. I want that person to I'd give them all my money to take a brain tumor out of me. So anyway, so ortho, so what that means, neurosurgeons. A neurosurgeon, they can't get away with making fun of other people. All right. They can, unless they're very careful. Again, you can do it, but very careful, high risk proposition. All right. For a neurosurgeon to make a video where they're kind of shitting on, internal medicine docs, emergency medicine, pediatrics, family medicine. But everybody, I do it all the time. I love making fun of neurosurgeons. And the thing is, the best part about this is that for the most part, people high on the ladder, they know they're high on the ladder. They know they got a big ego. They know they get a lot of respect. They know they're very well paid. They know what they're paid. All right. And so when you have people that kind of make fun of them in social media content, they're like, yeah, I get it. That's okay. And that's why I love it. That's why I love orthopedic surgeons. All right. You know how much hate mail I've gotten about from orthopedic surgeons about my content? Zero. None. The only people I've gotten that have gotten upset with me over the years have been people lower on the ladder. And I'm not saying that's not appropriate. That's okay. Because there have been some things that I regret making fun of that I probably shouldn't have because I was violating the ladder. I'm an ophthalmologist. I'm pretty high up there. I got to be careful about how I make fun of emergency medicine docs and family medicine and peds. That's why in all of my content, if you've noticed, I am very sympathetic to all of those specialties because of their lack of respect and the fact that they're underpaid. There you have it. That's the ladder. All right. Obey the ladder, folks. All right. Don't get mad because people are making fun of dermatologists. So what? You're beautiful and you're well paid. Just accept it. It's okay. You're going to be fine. A bit of a soapbox that it took me 35 minutes to get off of. So here we go. That's it. Let me know what you think, please. If you disagree with me, I put this together. I haven't fairly quickly. If I forgot your specialty, let me know in the comments. All right. Go to YouTube at Glock'em all right, and leave me a comment. Tell me where I went wrong with this ladder, or if I think it's pretty accurate, to be honest. And so I would appreciate a bit of feedback. So let me know, and I'll if I missed anybody in a future episode, I can try to kind of slot. This is an evolving ladder. All right, the rungs are changing, and I also want to apologize to ortho for putting you high on a ladder. I know you're not. I know that's no good for you. And for your job. How many times have you told people, men of a certain age, not to get on ladders? All right. I'm guilty. I will say that. All right. That's it for Knock Knock Eye and your healthcare comedy ladder. Thank you to my executive producers, Aaron Courtney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Burke. Our editor and engineers, Jason Portiza. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. You guys, I'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Hope you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.